Idaho Sports Talk, been waiting a long time for this one. Prater in the ball game, going to preview the Final Four with our Final Four correspondent, All Mountain West basketball player Max Rice in studio. And you got big shoes to fill, Max. Tyson, your teammate, knocked it out of the park last week. Your coach, Leon Rice, was here a couple weeks ago, too. So big expectations. We love it, man. What's going on, Max?
Oh, yeah. I've been looking forward to this all week. I think it just hits a little different when you're in the studio with the boys. So,
what are your impressions of the clubhouse, the studio?
I mean, you guys have built a great little collection down here. I wish I would have brought something, but if you have me on again, I guarantee I'll bring some worth value.
Our IT guy thinks it's already too cluttered, so we need to clutter it up more because those IT guys are a little nerdy. So let's bring us a bunch of crap. Bring us a bunch of junk.
Next time, I'll bring you a couple of things you'll like.
That's going to be great.
Hey, by the way, I know Tyson went 3 out of 4 on the first day. I never checked what he did on the second day. Did we ever check what he did on the second day? Because we have to hold Max to a higher standard than Tyson. I think
Tyson had Texas beating Miami, so I think he missed on that one. And I think he had UConn. No, he took the Zags.
No way he took UConn over.
You're right.
Come on.
You're right. Never mind. So he didn't do so well.
I think he probably went 5-3.
Okay.
Maybe 5-3.
Max needs to go 3-0.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to hold you to that.
Max has 3 games. The Final Four. I mean, obviously, Max, San Diego State, FAU, Miami, UConn. Not a lot of the who's who, not a lot of the blue bloods. Do you like seeing the Final Four like this? Last year, remember, we had Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, and Villanova. This year, totally different.
Yeah, I think it just shows like how college basketball is developing and going, and how really any team can make it now. Especially with the portal, I think it just changes the game completely, and teams that may not been able to get here before can get here. So I'm super excited to watch it this weekend. I think it's gonna be wild.
I'm glad you brought up the transfer portal because I wanted to dive deep into that, and we'll do that here in a little bit. But I mean, the fact that you mentioned it, do you feel like the transfer portal is the number one reason why we have this Final Four?
Yeah, probably. I'd have to really look at their rosters. I haven't looked at them too much, but I guarantee there was some shift here. They got this player that they wouldn't have got. So yeah, I definitely think the portal is a big reason for this. 17
transfer portal guys in the Final Four alone. The Sweet 16 had 80.
Wow.
And then it got cut in half, and now there's like 17 just for the Final Four. So it's significant, but that's the future we live in right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can see it on our team. You've seen it all year. Buzo came in, made an immediate impact.
Yep.
I'm sure these teams all have a guy like that, and there's some great things about the portal, and I think it's the future of college basketball.
Again, here with our Final Four correspondent, Max Rice, Prater in the ball game, Idaho Sports Talk. I just your initial thoughts, other than, it's cool storylines. You don't have all the big blue bloods. If you're a Cinderella guy, this might be for you. But, these teams, and I know one of them extremely well.
Yes.
And there's nothing Cinderella about the way these teams play, right? What's your overall, for people who are like, I guess I'm going to watch this thing, what type of Final Four are they going to get for Max Rice?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the analytics of these teams, none of these teams are really that big of surprises. I think FAU is top 20 in every statistical category, and then San Diego State is one of the best defenses in the country. Then you got the other side of the bracket too. Miami, they have a hurt player, but everyone thought they could do this. And then I think every Final Four team is battle tested, and they got deep benches, and they obviously have everything they need to make it there. And I really think it could be anyone's year. But obviously UConn's looking very good right now, and I think they're probably the heavy favorite.
Let's dive into San Diego State a little bit. Lots of emotions here. We all expected Boise State fans, Mountain West fans, to jump on the San Diego State bandwagon as they got to this far, but I'm a little surprised that it's like 99% on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Your emotions. We've heard from the social media warriors. What are your emotions when you see that San Diego State's in the Final Four?
Oh, it's a great question. I think if there's any team that really deserves it, I think it's San Diego State because of that COVID year when they were 30-1
and a 2 seed. I think
they would have been. Well, they would have been a 1 seed. Yeah,
that's true. That's right. Yeah,
I think they were the second overall seed. In that tournament. So that program deserves it. They've been good the last decade, and they've just battled. I think a lot of people even counted them out this year. No one really talked about them getting this far just because they were in Alabama's region. But no, I've been rooting for them the whole tournament. They're great guys. They just play hard. There's no reason to not like these guys. So I've been rooting for them, pulling for them. If they win a national championship, wow, it'd be great for the league. And it's right there for them for the taking. So,
the Max Rice takeover, I remember calling it. That was the last loss that San Diego State has had to experience, where you guys, your season was maybe in a fork at a corner, and you said, you know, we just have to find a way to win this game, and you did. So you know this team. You guys have beat them 4 out of the last 5 years also. What are their biggest vulnerabilities, Max? I mean, you found it late in that half, or in that game when you won it, but you've also found it last year when you swept these guys.
Yeah, I don't think they really have any vulnerabilities. I just think sometimes it's tough playing on the road, and obviously you're going to lose some games in conference occasionally, and we just happened to play good that night. And I don't think they have many vulnerabilities though. Sometimes it's tough for them to score, but that's just because they're so good defensively. They use up a lot of their energy just pressing and really constricting the other opposing offense. So obviously what they've done this year in the tournament shows they're deep. They got good transfers like we talked about. So yeah, they're a tough team to beat. They don't have a lot of vulnerabilities.
But as Johnny points out, 4 of 5 is not a fluke. When you've beat them 4 out of 5 times, that's a real scientific number. So what is, all those 5 games might be a little bit different, but what is the secret to beating? You're the coach. Come on, man, you're the coach. What's the secret to beating San Diego State?
Yeah, I think how we figured out how to do it occasionally is just match their defensive energy.
Okay.
And you saw we beat them in a game where it was like 43-39. Like, come on, you shouldn't win that game. You scored 42 points or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the key. Just match them defensively. Don't let them punk you with their pressure. If they turn you over, it's not looking good for you.
When you match that defensive intensity, because that's what they specialize in, and everybody says their one weakness might be they just don't have the offensive firepower that some teams do, but you can't really have both, or maybe you can. When you play that kind of defensive intensity, how hard is it for you to do the offensive side as well, especially when you're not as on fire as you were this last game?
Yeah, I think the key is just knowing what they're going to come at you with. Like, they're coming twice as physical as probably every team you played that year. So just going into the game knowing it's going to be a dogfight, you're not going to get any calls. There's no point in complaining because they're going to smack. They're going to go for the ball, and if you're not going to be tough, they're going to take it from you. So that's kind of what we talk about every time before we play them, and it's been working for us lately. But obviously in the tournament format, you don't really have time to prepare like that. So if you don't know what's coming, you'll find out real quick.
Final Four correspondent, Prater in the ball game, Max Rice, all Mountain West Conference basketball player this season. All right, let's get to these game predictions. Let me start with the early game, the first game on Saturday. These San Diego State Aztecs versus Florida Atlantic. What you've been able to see from FAU, who wins this game, how is it going to play out, Max? Aztecs, Owls, what you got?
Well, I'm really looking forward to this one because you got probably the best shooting team in the country, or in the tournament at least, percentage-wise, versus the second best 3-point percentage defense in the country. So I would have to lean towards San Diego State just because the defense and the depth, and playing in front of 60,000 people in Houston is going to be hard to shoot there, hard to make shots. You're amped up, you're ready to go. Wow. So I'd probably give it to San Diego State just because their defense, and it probably favors a defensive-led team. But with that being said, it's March, so I mean, FAU could obviously win that as well. But
I know Johnny wants to ask about the second game, but I wanted to bring up a Dutcher and his role and what you think about him and what he plays in this game. He's got in the tournament, you're right. You don't have a lot of time this week. They've had a little bit more time, a couple of extra days. What kind of master is he? What's his superpower?
Dutcher, I think people don't give him enough credit. First of all, he's doing an amazing job, like building a team from top to bottom, and he does a great job utilizing what each player does and getting the best from him. And I think if you watch their last 2 games, Bradley hasn't even played well.
No,
they still won, which just shows you they rely back on their defense, and some of those transfers. Trammell has really stepped up. So I would just say Dutcher can get the best out of all his players and make them play well together. I think he did a great job of balancing all that talent. Having 8 dudes that all deserve to start is a tough thing, and I think you kind of see that at San Diego State this year. Gonzaga had it this year a little bit too, because they had probably 2 or 3 guys off the bench. One was a player of the year, and that's the same exact thing for San Diego State. I think Trammell was the player of the year somewhere
in the WAC.
Yeah, in the WAC. So almost identical situations, and both teams made the Elite 8. So I think Dutcher deserves more credit for building that chemistry, that team chemistry, and just sticking with his dudes. So.
Before we get to the next game, I'll stay on this game for a second too. How badly are you pulling for San Diego State here, Max? I mean, let's get deep on this thing. Are you really hoping these guys win, or just I'd like to see them, but you're not going to be pissed off if they lose?
Oh, I think it'd be really cool to see him in the national championship game.
So you're pulling for
Oh,
these?
heck
Yes,
yeah, I'm
hell
pulling
yeah.
for him. Yeah.
You're wearing red today. I noticed.
Yeah, I'm wearing red. I am pulling for San Diego State. They've always been cool to me, so I got no problems with them, and I think it's great for the league as long as they're in it. Or we'll see how long they're in it for. But yeah, obviously I'm pulling for them to go to the national championship. It'd be awesome.
You trash talk with your buddies. I dropped 26 on them and beat them the last time they lost. I mean, do you bring that up at all?
No,
not once. Come on.
They sometimes they bring it up to me. Like sometimes, like they're like, "Yeah, it's cool. Like you had that game against a Final Four team." And it builds up my confidence.
Should. And the time you told Mensa, which way do you want me to take you, basically, and you took him, like, oh, sweet too. Max Rice, our Final Four correspondent. All right, let's get to the night game. Saturday night, Miami versus UConn. Max, what do you see happening here?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about how UConn has a little more depth and size. I think size is going to be huge for that game because UConn's got 2 7-footers, I think, that are both amazing. And then Miami's really small. I saw their lineup the other day. I think their big was 6'8", 6'9". So that could be a big problem for them. But they've been guard play all year, so that'll be good guard matchups. I'm going to have to go with UConn, though. I think UConn's an unstoppable force right now. I think they might get it done by 15.
We talked about the transfer portal and how that's changed the Final Four and changed college basketball and all of sports. Frankly, NIL is doing the same exact thing. Miami, it's out there a million places. They kind of bought this team legally through the rules.
No,
took advantage of the resources they had. As a student athlete who benefits from this sometimes, it's a pretty cool deal for student athletes. Are you okay with the excess though of spending $2-3 million on a basketball roster just to get them to this point?
I'm 100% okay with it. I think if the university and the people are willing to pay that to watch them and they're succeeding, why wouldn't they be able to get paid? Like just as if a coach was to do great at the university, he's going to go somewhere and get paid. He deserves it. Why is it any different for college athletes just because they're going to a university? So I think we're heading the right direction. I think the way people do it, there's definitely ways to get people money legally. So that's nice, but I think Miami's done a great job of paying their players in a legal way to get to the Final Four, and it's obviously paying off. So
the only downside, you're 100% right. I think the only downside for me anyway is just the lack of comparisons. I mean, here in Boise, you don't get the same opportunities you do in Miami. They get $1 million to, you're doing bacon. And I'm not saying that as a slight. I'm just saying that's kind of the market difference, and it creates an equity issue a little bit to me. But I'm all for putting as much money into your guys' pockets as possible. But the equity thing doesn't bother you a little bit at all?
I think there's always ways. Like there's ways for me to get in the community, and I know people and. Leon's obviously been working on building the culture around Boise State, getting boosters to help to stuff like that. So I think if you deserve it, you'll get it. And if you put in the work, you'll get it. And I think Boise State's doing a great job of kind of staying with what's going on. Because if you don't figure that out, your university will get left behind by schools like this who can just, here's 500,000. So but we're chugging along with the group, so we'll be just fine. And I think our administration's doing a great job keeping up with what's going on. So
great stuff with Max Rice here in studio. We'll get to your Monday night prediction, but I want to piggyback off that conversation a little bit too. So, you wouldn't have a problem. Sounds like you wouldn't, but say something did happen and there was a player who ends up coming here and he had a $175,000 price tag and it was met. And you're saying, hey, I'm all league, I'm pushing bacon. Tyson's, I'm all league, I'm hawking donuts. And there's a guy in there that gets $180,000. There's no ego there? Like, you guys would be cool with that?
No, but that's the thing. Like, your coaches are going to take care of people who deserve it. And, like, if we're going out there and we're trying to be the best team in Boise State history, I'm okay with spending a little more to go get a center that we need in order to make this university get wins that they've never got before in the tournament. Like, personally, that's just me. I'm more of a team guy. I think going to get that piece that we need is more important. I'm coming back regardless. So I have a number that I want. Yeah, I'll get what I earn, but I'm all about the team.
A financial number, you mean, of what you'd like to make on it?
Yeah, exactly. And what what will push me to be great next year and stuff like that. But I think I'm perfectly fine with paying dudes more to come here and help us win some games.
By the way, before we dive into Monday night's prediction, how do you take in Saturday? I mean, we've heard all season long about how you're the student. You go after games, you go home, you watch games, you study the game.
Take notes.
You're a big-time college basketball junkie. So do you lock yourself into a room? You hang with a bunch of guys and order some pizza? How do you handle Saturday?
Yeah. Going to Deggy's house with his buddies?
Yeah. No, I'll probably have some of the guys come over here. And then I always have like
when you say over here, I mean like in our studio?
No, not.
Are we invited?
Yeah,
Can we hang?
where are you going?
Can we hang? I'd like to hang.
I'd love to have you
party.
guys, man. I'd love to have you guys. But yeah, usually over at my house.
Okay.
And then when the Fuse, if they don't make it, AJ, he's one of my good friends. He usually drives up. So
Nice.
He's planning on coming up for the weekend.
Okay, nice.
Watch some games.
Your Fuse coming here?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the guy who played AAU with Tyson too, right?
Yeah, that's his little brother. That's
So, okay.
Joe.
But
But
you
yeah,
guys
they're
all
both
know each
coming
other.
up. Yep.
And
Watch
you
some
lived
games.
with Naj during the season and a non-sports buddy, right?
Yeah.
So is it
That's AJ's cousin, actually. Fun fact.
Oh,
So-
okay.
And then his mom, the non-sports buddy's mom, is the associate AD at Boise. too,
Okay.
so-
So you'll have some buddies over.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Have all the boys
Do you-
over, watch some games,
Some
chill.
smart intellect
Do you,
going
do
on
you-
there.
do you cook? Do you order? What do you do?
Oh no, I don't cook at all. Probably just some pizza.
Nice.
Nothing too crazy. Just the standard Final Four meal, some pizza and wings.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
All right,
vibes.
Max, Monday night, the Max Rice Final Four National Championship, San Diego State versus UConn. How's this game going to go? How can San Diego State win? How can UConn win? Give it to us, pal.
I think it's elite offense versus elite defense. I think everyone can kind of see that. And I'm going to say it's going to be played at San Diego State's pace. So I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than UConn would have liked. But I think it'll be back and forth. And I got UConn by 3.
Okay. Close game with UConn winning.
What
Yep.
would a San Diego State win mean for not only local and regional college basketball, but just college basketball in general?
Well, first of all, I think it'd be great for the West Coast just
Yeah.
because I think a bunch of champions in a row have been over there on the East Coast or
Mhm.
around that area. So
Arizona 97, right?
That's the last one.
that's the last
Before
one.
Max was born.
97.
Barely.
You
Yeah.
were 3.
Yeah.
No, I forgot. He's almost 30. You're right. But yeah, it's been a while, man.
Oh yeah, I'm getting up there, but I think it would be great for San Diego State to win it all. That's who I'm hoping wins it all. I want to go 3-0, so I'm
Yeah.
going with my gut. I think UConn is very good this year, but yeah, it'd be great for the West Coast, all those schools, and then I think it'd be great for the Mountain West as well.
I love it. Max Rice in studio. Appreciate your time today. This has been awesome. We can't wait to follow you throughout the off season, and hopefully you do go 3-0, man.
I hope so. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate you guys bringing me down.
Who was the big center Leon had on campus yesterday?
No comment.
Are we going there?
Are there more coming? No comment.
No.
Tyson Dagenhart said, Leon, if you're listening, I need a center. He said that on this show.
Hey, we're gonna have a great off season in the portal.
When you hear Leon say we're building a super team,
Yeah.
does that inspire you?
Oh yeah, I mean it's gonna be my last year of college. I'm going out on top. We're going out with the best team in Boise State history. Period.
Andrew Meadow, Roddy Anderson Jr., Chris Lockett Jr. We interviewed them all on the show yesterday. These kids, if they do what they need to do, Max, they can come in and help right away.
Oh, absolutely. If they do the things they need to do in the weight room, do all those things you do at a college level, it's just hard as a freshman, but you never know. We didn't know with Daggy. One got Louisiana Player of the Year, another one can do it all, and you never know. And then we got Julian the next year, so we got a good young core coming in, and I think it's going to be great for the program.
Roddy Anderson wears number 0.
He does.
Cade Rice wears number 0. Your little bro. You're the captain. Are you going to have to go to Roddy and say, sorry, dude, that's my bro. I'm the captain here. He had it first. Who gets number 0 on this
No,
team?
you go by stats, and so we're going to go probably Roddy gets 0, and then we're going to move Cade to be determined. Probably.
Okay, what are you,
maybe
equipment
4.
manager now? I love this.
Maybe 4.
Okay. Max, you're the best, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. You got to bring me back, though. You got to bring me back. I'll bring some stuff.
Done. Yeah, done.